Welcome to the deep dive. We sift through, well, everything articles, research, our notes to really pull out the key nuggets, giving you a shortcut to getting up to speed.
Hmm.
Today, we're looking at this idea of life as a marathon. Starts, finishes, sometimes you get knocked off course, but it's always moving forward.
Right, that constant motion.
And that leads us straight into today's deep dive, Runners, which is a volume of poetry by Manuel del Valle y Colon.
Ah,
So we've
yes.
got the poems themselves, a lot of biographical info on him, and a critical tribute piece. Our mission really is to give you a solid grasp of this amazing person. He was an attorney, a poet, an advocate, and the insights in his work, even from just the title Runners.
And what's really striking, I think, is how his own life story, it doesn't just sit alongside his poetry, it actually mirrors the themes he explores.
Really? How so?
Well, you see this incredible journey of persistence,
Mm.
deep dives into culture, and this just relentless push for justice. And it's all echoed, in the rhythm and feel of his writing.
Okay, let's unpack that then. Let's start at the beginning. Trace this runner's path. So, Manuel del Valle Colon, born October 1948, East Harlem, New York City.
Mm.
Eldest son, parents from Hatillo and Moca in Puerto Rico. His childhood, it involved moving, between housing projects, Carver houses, then Douglas projects when he was 9,
Right.
public schools in East and West Harlem, and then Brooklyn Technical High School in 1962.
Brooklyn Tech, yeah.
Yeah.
A specialized school.
Exactly. He graduated 66, college prep track, but high school wasn't just books for him. He was incredibly involved.
Oh, yeah?
Free World Club, polling squad, debating society, survey, even managed the fencing team.
Wow, okay. Definitely diverse interests.
And his yearbook, it gives this really striking glimpse into who he was even back then. Classmates wrote things that hinted his character.
Like what?
Well, you see things like, to an amateur historian, to my favorite philosopher, best of luck in your search for complete knowledge. Stuff like that.
Huh. So even then, seen as an intellectual.
Totally. King of quotes. Tech's great philosopher and debater. It's clear his peers saw this, sharp mind, this constant searching for understanding.
That's fascinating.
And crucially, he was really involved with Aspera in high school.
Ah, Aspera. Very important organization.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, it's about boosting education and leadership for Latino youth. He was Issues and Actions Chairman for the Aspera Clubs Federation, worked with people like Wilfredo Caraballo, Fernando Ferrer.
Big names later on.
Right. And he was trained by Aspera's founder, Antonia Pantoja, and other key figures.
Yeah. And what's fascinating there is how those early experiences, growing up in the projects, the intellectual rigor of Brooklyn Tech, and then the community work with Aspera, it just so clearly laid the foundation.
The groundwork for the race ahead, you could say.
Exactly. For his future race towards justice and that deep understanding, you see this early mix of brain power and social conscience. He wasn't just learning, he was gearing up.
So from that foundation, his academic path just kept going impressively. He started with a really selective program, the Yale Transitional Year Program, 66 to 67.
Okay. Yale TYP.
Then after that, Wesleyan University, starting in 67. His Yale grades helped him get in, and he spent a semester working with the Edwin Gould Foundation and the Chicago program, cooperative program for educational opportunity.
Both focused on access to higher ed.
Exactly. Helping minority students get into college, he actually got academic credit for it in American Studies at Wesleyan, and he got a grant to research identity issues.
Always digging deeper.
Seems like it. Then his studies went international. Spring 69, Wesleyan program in Madrid, studied Spanish literature.
Okay.
Then that summer, a foundation grant took him to the University of Puerto Rico in Rio Piedras.
Ah, back to the roots in a way.
Yeah, studied Puerto Rican history, literature, political science. He even put together a syllabus for a potential course.
Proactive.
Definitely. Then fall 69, he transfers to Princeton, and this is where his impact really take off. Majored in history, Latin American studies, Afro-American studies, but he wasn't just a student. He was key in starting the Latino organization on campus. Actively recruited Latino and Latina students.
Welding community.
Yeah, and he got the university to approve one of the first Ivy League seminars on Puerto Rican history and politics.
Wow. Trailblazing, really.
And here's what's truly amazing, the practical impact of his studies. A chapter from his senior thesis. It was called A History of the Puerto Rican Student and Public Education, 1945-1969.
Okay.
It wasn't just filed away. He used it in a memo for Senator Jacob Javits. He interned for him.
Right.
And that memo later got used in a U.S. Commission on Civil Rights hearing in '72, and get this, by the Puerto Rican Legal Defense and Education Fund.
PRLDEF.
Yeah, in their complaint for the Espera v. Board of Education case, the big one.
So his student work directly fed into landmark litigation. That's incredible.
Isn't it? Just quickly, he also taught and counseled students in the A Better Chance program at Phillips Andover over a summer.
Always giving back.
And then Yale Law School, 71 to 74, got his Juris Doctor. He had a John Hay Whitney Fellowship.
Prestigious?
Yeah. Classmates included Clarence Thomas and Lonnie Guarnier. And while he was there, he taught undergrad courses on Puerto Rican history and politics and the Puerto Rican experience in the U.S.
Still teaching? Still advocating?
And he founded the undergrad Puerto Rican organization at Yale, Despierta Boricua. Some notable students of his later became prominent figures, like Honorable Eduardo Padró and Gilbert Casellas.
Okay, if we connect this, look at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
His whole academic journey, it wasn't just about collecting degrees, right?
No, clearly not.
It feels much more like a deliberate, really impactful pursuit of knowledge. And he was always crossing disciplinary lines: history, law, politics, culture.
Yeah.
It was this conscious effort, it seems, to weave together his learning with advocacy, with identity, social justice. He was always driving to apply what he learned to, actual real-world problems.
All right. Education as a tool for change.
Exactly. His education wasn't the end point. It was the launch pad.
So that academic sprint launches him straight into his professional marathon, you could say, a life really centered on legal justice. He starts as a trial attorney at PRLDEF, the Puerto Rican Legal Defense and Education Fund. That's 74 to 75.
Right after law school.
Yeah. And this is where he worked on that massive case, Aspira v. Board of Education.
The bilingual education case.
Exactly. Resulted in that consent decree, which was basically a court-ordered agreement mandating bilingual ed for kids with limited English proficiency. Huge.
Absolutely foundational.
And also Pabon v. Levine, which got bilingual notices for Spanish-speaking unemployment claimants. Important practical stuff. He got admitted to practice law all over New York, New Jersey, D.C., PA, federal courts, even the Supreme Court.
Built quite the foundation.
Then, for more than a decade, 75 to 87, he's a trial attorney with the U.S. Department of Labor, Office of the Solicitor.
Okay, federal government.
Prosecuting federal labor law violations. But while doing that demanding job, he was also teaching. Adjunct associate professor at Fordham, visiting lecturer back at Princeton and Yale, associate professor of law at New York Law School.
Wow. How did he manage that pace?
It's incredible. And he kept pushing. 83, 84, he gets a Rockefeller Foundation Fellowship. One of only 17 Americans chosen that cycle.
Wow.
Used it to study at the London School of Economics. Prepared a thesis on Puerto Rican jurisprudence before the U.S. Supreme Court, basically digging into the complex legal status of Puerto Rico, and that got published.
Always researching, always contributing.
Then he becomes one of the few Puerto Rican arbitrators in the U.S. after finishing a minority arbitrator program in 86.
Adding another skill set.
And another fellowship, Ford Foundation, 86, 87. This time for research into national origin discrimination against Hispanics. Resulted in a huge 400-page monograph, plus an article in the Harvard Journal of Hispanic Policy.
Significant work.
Then he becomes a partner at a firm, Del Valle and Zayas, doing civil commercial labor investigations. Still doing arbitration, still an impartial hearing officer for NYC Board of Ed on special ed cases.
Juggling multiple roles constantly.
And has a really key role, 91 to 95.
Yeah.
He becomes the first Puerto Rican chief administrative officer of the New York State Division of Human Rights.
Okay, leadership position.
And he prioritized racial and sexual harassment cases and AIDS cases, still teaching adjunct at Fordham Law concurrently. Later, he worked in healthcare management and then capped off his career as an administrative law judge, then chief ALJ, for the Social Security Administration down San Juan, Puerto Rico. That was from 2004 to 2020.
It's truly remarkable, isn't it? You have to ask, how did one person sustain that kind of career, so demanding, so impactful, across law, academia, administration, all while constantly advocating?
Yeah.
His focus on, as the source says, those too often unheard, it's just unwavering. And his ability to, synthesize all this different information, see patterns, connect dots across all these varied roles.
Like that runner's persistence.
Exactly. He approached it all with that same marathon runner's persistence, it seems.
But what's just as compelling, and maybe, the other side of the coin for this incredible person, is his poetry. His deeply poetic soul, and just the sheer volume of his work.
Right, the Omnibus Poetry series.
Yeah, it spans, 37 volumes? It's astounding. Just the titles give you a sense of the range. Yale, Wesleyan, Princeton, Puerto Rico Profiles, Pandemic, Fencing, Goddesses, Barefoot Sketches, Wounds, Whispers.
It's such a unique blend, isn't it? That sharp legal mind, logical, analytical, focused on justice, but tempered by deep compassion, by advocacy, that tenacious defense of the unheard. And then existing right alongside it, this deeply poetic sensibility.
Yeah.
There's this anonymous critical tribute that describes his voice in court not as like loud thunder, but as an ocean-persistent, principled type.
Ooh, it's evocative.
Isn't it? And his poetry, his verse, as words forged, blessed by Thai monks, sung by Taino drums, whispered by winds from the mountains of your memory. It really gets to this idea that he doesn't just, live life.
Yeah.
He interprets it, examines it, elevates it through words, vision, action.
Okay, so let's actually step into that lyrical world now, into Runners itself. Let's see how these themes, the ones he clearly lived, play out in the poems.
Right. So the collection Runners, you can broadly see maybe 5 main thematic threads running through it.
Okay.
There's movement, effort, persistence. It's obviously central. Then nature, used as a reflection, maybe a companion, emotion, memory, loss, identity, creativity, expression, and finally this idea of becoming, of transformation. Those are kind of the big buckets.
Got it. So let's start with one called Standing on the Beach, 5 Barefooted Runners. What's the feeling here?
Well, it immediately grounds you, right? That imagery of being nourished by the earth, the sea, the sand, the waves. But what's really interesting is the coach's message in the poem. That achievement itself is a way to break prejudice. And that simple rhythm, left-right, of running, it's not just physical. The poem contrasts it directly with what it calls the immobility of contemporary life, which inhibits the breath and distorts the mind.
So it's a call to move, to breathe freely.
Exactly. A call for movement, unburdened breath, a free spirit. For us, too, in our lives.
That makes me think immediately of obstacles. What about stack up tires? That sounds like a pretty clear metaphor.
Oh, absolutely. The
Yeah.
tires, they stand for obstacles life presents. Solid, strong, sturdy, tough, robust. Pretty clear.
Right.
But what's really insightful isn't just that they're obstacles, it's how the poem immediately makes you confront the idea of no second chances with some challenges.
Ah, okay. The stakes.
Yeah, it stresses this need for intense focus, support from others, and practice to unstack, unlock, and undo those challenges. It's about being ready and getting it done.
Then there's nature again, in sea waves rolling in and out. What's the takeaway there?
This one feels like it's about a really deep, almost spiritual link with nature. The waves aren't just moving water, they're cleaning the planet, freeing what holds it back. And they're always waiting to create at a moment's notice yet another dream.
So constant renewal, creation.
Yeah, it speaks to that ceaseless renewal, nature's creative power. Like the waves shape the shore, life is always shaping new possibilities.
Shifting tone a bit, there's even those who are blind cry feels more about shared humanity.
Definitely. It zooms in on the universal stuff, crying, laughing, loss, joy, humor, all of it. And it offers this really potent idea
Which is,
that sighted people can actually be blind to their own need to let go, to wash away hurts or near misses.
interesting, emotional blindness.
Right. It's a profound nudge about our shared humanity, regardless of physical sight, and how important emotional release is for everyone.
There's another one about accounting for life at the end. Life's end requires a debriefing. What's that about?
Yeah, that one's intense. It's this idea of needing to account for every significant moment, person, even vacations,
Yeah.
to sort of energize the universe with your memories before this merger with the nebula.
Wow. Cosmic accounting.
Kind of. It speaks to the weight and value of lived experience, maybe, how it contributes to something larger.
And nature as a purifier comes up again, and the wind takes your sadness away from you.
Right. Nature is this witness to our struggles, but also a force that clears the path, blows away the past, brings harmony so we can have new adventures. It's cleansing.
Then there's I won't do it again. Sounds like lessons learned.
Exactly. It's about the power of making mistakes, but then actually learning from them. Pausing, reflecting, gaining that self-awareness to never repeat common mistakes. Growth. basically.
What about creativity and perception? Like in I sketched your face on a canvas
Huh.
or modeling a figure?
Yeah, these explore the limits of just depicting someone physically. The poem says, you can sketch a face, but it is your spirit that matters, and you can't really capture that,
So surface versus depth.
pretty much. And it connects to needing a good eye to see the blind spots we impose on ourselves, seeing beyond the superficial in others and ourselves.
And there seems to be this recurring pull towards nature, almost seeking refuge. I come to be one with the trees. Looking out to the tropical mountain forest, I walked through the clouds.
Yes, absolutely. Those poems together really emphasize this profound connection, seeking solitude, yielding to nature's grace, finding rest and wisdom there, like in the Mountain of Paradise. The clouds, described as stoic and unmoved, remind us of nature's virtues, stillness, strength.
Finding an anchor.
Exactly. An anchor in the natural world.
Transformation comes up and transcendence transforms all beings.
Right. This one talks about purpose being like a shadow of the promise of the universe, something that bridges reality, finding your identity in your heart. It suggests aligning our choices with nature's goals, seeking harmony with the vibration of the universe's call for justice. Very philosophical.
Deep stuff. And taking pictures is never about the light. That sounds counterintuitive.
It is. But the insight from the sage in the poem is that shadows give substance and context. We often hide and fail to manifest our mortality, maybe by focusing only on the bright spots.
Yeah.
It's about letting go of biases to see the truth, how light and dark actually define each other.
Seeing the whole picture.
Yeah, the shadows included.
And finally, a really direct call for connection. Hold on to me.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
A powerful call for interdependence, for courage when you're facing the headwinds of fate and future. It stresses that this journey, it's collective. Nature sets the rules, the poem says, and all we need to do is hold on to each other.
We're in it together.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Even running our own races, we're stronger together.
Wow.
So if you connect these poems back to his life, his career, it's just so clear how his work embodies his philosophy.
Yeah, you can really see it.
Like his legal battles, that's pure persistence, overcoming obstacles from the poems. His lifelong engagement with different cultures, his background, his studies that reflects the transcendence, the search for soul-deep understanding in his
But
verse.
This all lines up.
It really does. His whole life's work, legal and poetic, is a testament to these themes. Which, brings up a question for you, the listener. What parts of his life, his art, really resonate with you in your own journey?
It's been an incredible deep dive, hasn't it, into Manuel del Valle Colón's life. Just remarkable. From East Harlem, through the projects, public schools, then Yale, Wesleyan, Princeton, Yale Law. A life spent constantly running that race for justice, for truth, for profound expression. He really shows us a life committed to intellectual rigor and social advocacy, while also nurturing this incredibly expressive poetic side. Our goal with this deep dive was really to give you that shortcut, to being well informed about this extraordinary person and his powerful work.
And here's a final thought to maybe mull over. Manuel del Valle Colón is described as someone who belongs to many homelands yet remains whole,
Interesting phrase.
isn't it? So consider how his journey, always learning, always advocating, always creating, whether in legal briefs or evocative poems, maybe illustrates that true belonging isn't about a fixed place on a map. Maybe it's more about a soul-deep understanding that embraces multiplicity, that embraces complexity, and never stops seeking justice. What does wholeness even mean in a world like ours, with borders and identities constantly crossing?
That's a powerful question to leave folks with. We definitely encourage you to seek out Manuel del Valle y Colón's Omnibus Poetry series, or maybe look into the legal cases he was involved in. And as you go about your day, think about it. What aspects of this deep dive really stood out to you?